Hollywood is known for creating tropes and cliches, but are they all good tropes or do they create harmful stereotypes? Some of these tropes are plot related, while others are associated with characters. Certain tropes even belong to specific genres, such as enemies to lovers or friends to lovers. These endless tropes are often directed from romance genre. However, there's one particular trope Hollywood is most known for, the chosen one, or in the case of romance stories, the fated love. For years, Hollywood has tried to convince us that in some romantic cases, people fall in love just because the other person is the one. Emily in Paris, since its release, has proven to pursue the same trope. For a while, it seemed like the show was leaving the idea of Emily being the one alone until season 3 came out, and the finale became the most absurd finale of all time. So let's talk about it. Who is the chosen one? The chosen one, also known as the one or the chosen, is a narrative trope where one character, usually the protagonist, is framed as the inevitable hero or anti-hero of the story due to destiny, unique gifts, or special lineage. This definition applies to many genres, with the most popular being fantasy and sci-fi. These genres have given us some of the most famous chosen ones of all time, such as Harry Potter, Luke Skywalker, and even Paul Atreides. However, there's one genre that has been using this trope for years. This is when two people suddenly feel like they have found the one, their soulmate. This trope usually leads to very absurd and toxic relationships. Emily in Paris is no exception. Fated lovers or destined love is where two characters are irresistibly drawn to each other, despite various challenges, misunderstandings, or circumstances that might keep them apart. This trope is common in romance narratives and involves several key elements and variations. Let's see what they are and how they affect Emily in Paris more than you might think. The couple this applies to is, of course, Emily and Gabrielle. Key elements. Inevitable attraction. Despite obstacles, the characters feel a deep, almost supernatural connection, making their union seem inevitable. This explains why we don't have any justification of why Emily and Gabrielle are interested in each other. Repeated separation and reunion. The characters often face numerous separations and reunions, heightening the tension and drama of their relationship, and this shows itself through kissing but not getting together, sleeping with each other, and deciding to ignore their feeling and so-called attraction. Long-term development. Their relationship often unfolds over a long period, allowing for growth, change, and deepening of their bond. This explains the ridiculous amount of time it takes for Emily and Gabrielle to realize they have feelings for each other. External obstacles. Various external factors continuously test their commitment to each other, such as other relationships, life circumstances, or misunderstandings. This is where it gets interesting, because anyone and anything can become an obstacle. A 5-year-old relationship, a long-term girlfriend, internal conflict. This means personal growth, insecurities, or fears that also create internal barriers that the characters must overcome to be together. This one doesn't apply. I don't think Emily in Paris is that deep. Maybe in some episodes, Emily wants to be moral and avoid Gabrielle, but it's only after she's slept with him. There are also a few famous variations of this trope, such as on-again, off-again romance. The couple repeatedly break up and gets back together. Do you remember Ross and Rachel from Friends? Love against all odds. The lovers face missed opportunities. The characters experience several missed opportunities to be together, adding tension to their relationship. Evolving relationship. Their relationship evolves over time, often starting as a friendship or antagonism before transforming into romance. Ultimate reunion. Despite all the obstacles, the characters ultimately end up together, fulfilling the sense of distant love. This trope has been especially popular in TV shows, particularly comedies and sitcoms. Robin for Ted, Rachel for Ross, and many other female characters are always the one for the guy. But Emily in Paris handles this trope in the worst possible way. It takes this trope, which is toxic in its nature, to another level. Season 1. Somehow, for reasons we're not aware of, from the moment Gabrielle meets Emily, he falls for her. This isn't surprising given that Frenchmen are depicted as the horniest species of males in the world on this show.
And I like American pussy. You don't have a boyfriend in Paris.
Literally every man who meets Emily falls for her, especially in season 1. They tried to tone it down in later seasons, but in season 1, from a teenage guy to a married man who's also in a relationship with another woman, they all drool over Emily the moment they see her. And Emily has her fun with them as well. She sleeps with the 17-year-old and attempts to pursue the sugar daddy, but he leaves her with blue balls. Good for him. So Gabriel is one of the many men who has feelings for Emily, but for some mysterious reason, Emily likes him too. These two never bonded in any meaningful way, so much so that Emily only finds out Gabriel has a girlfriend after she kisses him. But this doesn't stop here. They create unnecessary tension between Gabriel and Emily that could easily be resolved by being honest with Camille. Honestly, Camille was one of the best things about this show, so of course they ruined her in later seasons. Emily and Gabriel kiss for a second time. This time, Emily is fully aware that he has a girlfriend. Not only this, but his girlfriend is Emily's friend. If French people are as mean as the show suggests, I would have cherished someone as nice as her. What this trope tries to depict is that when two people find someone as the one, they should end up together to create yet another trope, the happily ever after. This means breaking every possible person's heart, putting aside empathy or any moral codes. It's one thing if people get into relationships and after spending time together consider each other the one, but it's another thing to mark someone as the one and ruin everything you already have in life, especially for someone like Gabrielle who's already in a long-term relationship. But beyond that, it means there's no need for the two to bond in any meaningful way. They don't need to connect or have any kind of chemistry, and kisses aren't going to be enough, of course. 2 seconds after breaking up with Camille, he's going to sleep with Emily. Honestly, I don't know who's the worst person, Gabrielle or Emily. This show is the definition of saying one thing and doing the opposite. Emily is supposed to be this nice girl, but she sabotages everything for a guy she barely knows. And in the case of Gabrielle, a 5-year relationship, I'm finding it hard to believe that Emily is the one. If Gabrielle acts like that in a 5-year relationship, imagine the second he sees someone he thinks is better than Emily. Season 2. In this season, the show tried to step away from this trope a bit. We are introduced to another potential love interest for Emily, Alfie. For a while, it seemed like the showrunners genuinely recognized the errors of the previous season and wanted to fix them. But let's hold this idea. Maybe this was a way of misdirecting the audience after what they did in season 3. We'll talk about it. Alfie is an English guy who has come to Paris to work, just like Emily, and they have a lot in common. For instance, Alfie is just as racist as Emily, but at least Emily appreciates the city, even if she doesn't enjoy the people, while Alfie hates absolutely everything about Paris. Seriously, this company made a big win sending this guy. Alfie is the guy with no troubles when it comes to relationships. Camille finds out about Gabrielle and Emily, and it seems like Emily wants to move on now. She's found the problem, although her friend Mindy doesn't miss any chances to antagonize Camille for getting back together with her own boyfriend. For Emily, moving on is the reasonable thing to do, but there are instances like this where Emily has just come back from her first night with Alfie, and we don't know why she has to gaslight and mislead Gabrielle. You're an adult. Why do you need to lie? These instances, it almost feels like Emily and Gabrielle are using both of their partners to stay away from their unresolved issues. Maybe they do deserve to end up together after all. And in the finale, we still get a touch of the storyline back.
And I didn't fall in love with my friend's boyfriend.
And yeah, we've done a full circle in 2 seasons. Now, season 3 is just like season 1. But let me tell you this. If there's one thing the writers of Emily in Paris think they're good at, is convincing their audience about the way the story is going. This whole idea that Emily is resisting Gabrielle with all she has and showing Camille as the bad guy for breaking up the pact that she made with Emily is without a doubt a not so clever way to tell us who we should root for. So there's one big difference at the start of season 3. Camille isn't this sweet girl anymore. She's the backstabbing bitch. Or is she? Season 3. In this season, Gabrielle and Camille are back together, and Emily and Gabrielle still have feelings for each other. Relationship-wise, this season is just all over the place and very messy. But Gabrielle won't stop making puppy eyes at Emily. I don't know why he's in this relationship. It looks like a really big red flag that just because he can't have Emily, he gets back together with Camille. Alfie and Emily's relationship doesn't look so well either, and it seems like Emily is trying so hard to gain his trust back. But with a heartwarming or maybe a cringy song, they're back together. Season 3 goes all in for antagonizing Camille. They introduce a new love interest for her, and she is cheating on Gabrielle throughout the season. And this is where it gets too ironic. They've tried to use the same logic that was used in season 1 to showcase that Emily isn't the bad guy, but this time it's to prove that Camille is the bad guy. It was also a way to balance out how this relationship isn't working on any level. If Gabrielle has a new love interest, so does Camille. But let's make it short and jump to the end of season 3. Gabrielle and Camille decide to get married, only for Gabrielle to be left at the altar. And Camille reveals her plans in stereotypical, antagonistic dialogue, which is saying all of her plans out loud, and she mentions that Emily and Gabrielle should be together.
The way she looks at you, the way you look at her, anyone can see it.
I honestly think I've heard this sentence like 100 times before. Just another messed up aspect of this trope. Season 4. Season 4 of Emily in Paris, promising to be aired later this summer, it's obvious that they want to show a relationship between these two. But of course, it's going to be as unrealistic as anything else has been so far on this show. This romanticization of worshipping someone and throwing out everything for them is the thing that would eventually lead to so many relationships being broken in real life. This trope makes sacrificing other people's feelings seem so easy, but I believe we do have a choice in people we fall for, and choosing isn't by any means out of our control. Emily in Paris certainly isn't the first or the last sitcom that tried to shove this down our throats. I believe Ross and Rachel were also one of the most toxic couples that came out of this trope. What do you think? Do you agree with me or not? Let me know in the comments, and see you next time.